Have you ever wondered what it takes to solve a murder mystery? In the heart of Russia's cultural capital, St. Petersburg, a bustling cafe became the stage for a shocking event that would rattle the nation. It was here that prominent Russian military blogger Vladlen Tatarsky met an untimely end. A sudden explosion, an unseen enemy, and a cafe filled with unsuspecting patrons turned into a scene of chaos and devastation. Tatarsky, a figure well known for his pro-Kremlin stance, was no stranger to controversy. His support for the war in Ukraine made him a divisive figure, revered by some, reviled by others. But on that fateful day, amidst the aroma of fresh coffee and the hum of conversation, Tatarsky's life was abruptly extinguished. The explosion was not just a targeted attack on Tatarsky, it was an act of violence that tore through the fabric of an ordinary day, leaving a trail of destruction in its wake. 32 people were injured in the blast, 10 of them in serious condition. The cafe was transformed from a place of comfort and camaraderie into a crime scene marked by debris and despair. As the dust settled, the reality of what had transpired began to sink in. Tatarsky, a man who had navigated the turbulent waters of military politics, was now the victim of a brutal murder. The echoes of the explosion reverberated across the city and beyond, casting a shadow of uncertainty and fear. In the aftermath, a murder investigation was opened. A woman named Daria Trepova quickly emerged as a suspect. But the motive behind this gruesome act remained shrouded in mystery. Was it a personal vendetta or a political statement? Was this a random act of violence, or was Tatarsky specifically targeted? The intrigue surrounding his death would soon become the subject of intense scrutiny. The question remains, who would want to kill Vladlen Tatarsky and why? Vladlen Tatarsky wasn't just any blogger. He was a figure of prominence, a beacon in the Russian military blogging world. Born and bred in Russia, Tatarsky was a man of his soil, deeply entrenched in the narratives of his homeland. His blog posts, resonating with a powerful voice, painted a vivid picture of the Russian military's operations and strategies. Tatarsky's journey was not a conventional one. From his early years, he exhibited a keen interest in military affairs, which led him to establish his own blog, a platform that soon garnered a massive following. His readership spanned across the globe, captivated by his detailed and insightful analysis of the Russian military and its various maneuvers. But Tatarsky wasn't merely an observer. He was an active participant in the discourse surrounding Russia's military interventions, particularly its involvement in Ukraine. A staunch pro-Kremlin figure, Tatarsky was unabashed in his support for the war in Ukraine. His posts often reflected his political stance, advocating for Russia's intervention and justifying its actions. His influence was not limited to the virtual world. Tatarsky was frequently seen at pro-war events, engaging with like-minded individuals, sharing his thoughts and insights. His presence was felt, his words echoed, and his opinions stirred conversations. However, Tatarsky's pro-Kremlin stance wasn't without controversy. His unequivocal support for the war in Ukraine and his pro-Kremlin views were contentious, often drawing criticism from various quarters. His blog posts, while admired by many, were also the subject of scrutiny and dissent. His strong political views, combined with his prominence in the military blogging sphere, made him a figure of influence, but also a potential target. Tatarsky's controversial views made him both influential and a potential target. His death not only silenced a powerful voice, but also sparked a complex murder investigation that continues to fascinate and perplex true crime enthusiasts around the world. In the aftermath of chaos, the hunt for the murderer began. The blast that claimed the life of the prominent Russian military blogger Vladlen Tatarsky shook not only the cafe in St. Petersburg, but the entire nation. The authorities, tasked with piecing together the puzzle of this tragic event, had their work cut out for them. In the heart of the investigation was a woman named Daria Trepova, identified early on as a suspect. Who was Daria? Was she just a name in the whirlwind of speculations, or was there more to her story? The answers to these questions were as elusive as the motive behind this heinous act. The investigators faced an uphill battle. The explosion had created a scene of devastation, complicating their task. The blast injured 32 people, 10 of whom were in a serious condition. This meant that witnesses who could shed light on the event were battling their own fights for survival. Each piece of evidence had to be carefully retrieved from the wreckage, a painstaking task that required both precision and patience. Furthermore, the investigators had to tread carefully. Tatarsky was no ordinary man. He was a pro-Kremlin figure supporting the war in Ukraine. His death during an event organized by a pro-war group added another layer of complexity to the investigation. This was not just about solving a murder, it was about navigating the treacherous waters of political intrigue. Yet, the authorities were undeterred. Each piece of debris, each witness account, every shred of information was a step closer to understanding the sequence of events that led to Tatarsky's death. The road to justice was fraught with challenges, but the resolve to uncover the truth was unwavering. With a suspect in sight, the pursuit for justice was on. The fate of Daria Trepova hung in the balance, as did the answers to the many questions surrounding this tragic incident. The investigation was just beginning, and the world watched with bated breath, waiting for the truth to unfold. History, as they say, often repeats itself. As we delve deeper into the chilling murder of Vladlen Tatarsky, an unnerving echo resonates from the past. The blast that extinguished Tatarsky's life bears a striking resemblance to another high-profile case that shook the nation not too long ago, the murder of Daria Dugina, the daughter of ultra-nationalist Alexander Dugin. Like Tatarsky, Dugina was not just another face in the crowd. She was a figure of significance, her life intertwined with the intricate web of politics and power. The circumstances surrounding her untimely demise were shrouded in mystery, giving rise to numerous theories and speculations. The similarities between the two incidents are hard to ignore. Both victims were high-profile figures with political ties. Both murders were public and brutal, leaving a trail of chaos in their wake. Both incidents seem to carry the dark undertone of a targeted attack, hinting at the possibility of a sinister motive lurking beneath the surface. The speculation surrounding both cases is rife, with theories ranging from political vendettas to personal grudges. However, the truth, as it often is, remains elusive. The authorities are yet to connect the dots and present a clear picture of what led to these shocking incidents. But could these echoes of the past hold the key to solving Tatarsky's murder? Could the similarities between the two cases provide the investigators with the much-needed breakthrough? Or are these parallels mere coincidences, destined to fade away into the realm of forgotten mysteries? As we navigate through the labyrinth of this murder investigation, these echoes from the past serve as a grim reminder that sometimes history does repeat itself. And as we continue to search for answers, we can only hope that the echoes of the past will lead us to the truth about the present. Could the past hold the key to solving this murder mystery? As we move forward, we wait with bated breath for the answer to this question. Not all stories have one side. In the vast, intricate web of global politics and warfare, perspectives often diverge, and the truth gets lost in the labyrinth. The brutal killing of Vladlen Tatarsky is one such instance where the motive behind the act has become a battleground of differing views, fueling the ongoing war between Russia and Ukraine. Russian officials, leaning towards their pro-Kremlin narrative, view Tatarsky's murder as an act of rebellion, a direct attack on their warfront ideologies. Tatarsky was, after all, a staunch supporter of the Kremlin, his influence spreading far and wide through his military blog. His death, they argue, was a targeted move to destabilize their war efforts and to silence the voices of those who dared to support the Kremlin's stance. On the other side, Ukrainian officials interpret Tatarsky's killing through a different lens. They see it as an internal dispute, a result of the growing dissent within Russia itself. To them, Tatarsky's murder is evidence of the cracks within the Russian war machinery, of the discontent brewing against the Kremlin's aggressive war policies. The fact that the prime suspect, Daria Trepova, is a Russian citizen only adds fuel to their claim. The political implications of Tatarsky's murder are as deep as they are wide, shaking the foundations of an already tense geopolitical landscape. Whether it's an external attack or an internal rupture, the killing has undoubtedly added another layer of complexity to the ongoing war. It has amplified the voices of dissent, stirred the pot of political unrest, and blurred the lines between friend and foe. As we delve deeper into this intricate web of power, politics, and murder, we find that the truth often reflects the eye of the beholder. What one perceives as an act of rebellion, another views as an internal dispute. As the plot thickens, the truth seems to blur. Murder mysteries are not solved in a day. A truth as timeless as the pursuit of justice itself. And in the case of the tragic and shocking demise of Vladlen Tatarsky, the prominent Russian military blogger, this statement holds especially true. Since the dreadful blast at the St. Petersburg cafe, investigators have been tirelessly piecing together the puzzle left in the wake of the explosion. There's been progress, certainly, but each new piece seems to reveal an even larger, more elaborate picture. The suspect, Daria Trepova, remains in custody, and while she has not yet been tried, the investigation is far from over. The case took an intriguing turn when investigators discovered links between Tatarsky's death and the killing of Daria Dugina, the daughter of ultra-nationalist Alexander Dugin. The similarities between the two cases have added a new layer of complexity to the investigation, opening up fresh leads while also presenting new challenges. But the murder of Vladlen Tatarsky is more than just a crime scene. It's a nexus of political intrigue and tension. Since the incident, the political landscape has shifted subtly. The pro-Kremlin and pro-war sentiments that Tatarsky espoused continue to be a topic of intense debate, both within Russia and internationally. The killing has not only intensified the discourse around the war in Ukraine, but has also strained relations between Russian and Ukrainian officials who are at odds over the motive behind Tatarsky's killing. These political undertones add an extra dimension to the investigation, making it not just a quest for justice, but a journey through a web of international politics and power plays. Yet, despite these challenges and the intricate labyrinth of political and criminal intrigue, the investigation presses forward. Each new day brings with it the hope of a breakthrough, the possibility of understanding the true motive behind the killing, and the chance to bring those responsible to justice. The narrative of Vladlen Tatarsky's life and death is still being written. The pursuit of truth continues, and so does our quest for justice. Each murder mystery is a jigsaw puzzle with its own set of unique pieces. And so we find ourselves at the end of our exploration into the intriguing and harrowing case of Vladlen Tatarsky, the prominent Russian military blogger whose life was abruptly ended in a fatal cafe explosion in St. Petersburg. Like a story straight out of a thriller, Tatarsky's demise was nothing short of shocking. This pro-Kremlin figure, a staunch supporter of the war in Ukraine, was targeted during an event hosted by a pro-war group. The blast that took Tatarsky's life was not just an attack on an individual, but a violent act that harmed 32 others, leaving 10 in a critical condition. Yet, the puzzle of Tatarsky's murder is far from complete. A woman named Daria Trepova has emerged as a suspect. The investigation, however, remains ongoing, with many pieces in this complex puzzle yet to be placed. As we've delved deeper into the case, we've discovered echoes of the past. Parallels have been drawn between Tatarsky's murder and the killing of Daria Dugina, the daughter of ultra-nationalist Alexander Dugin. These similarities add another layer of complexity, further complicating the case. The motive behind Tatarsky's killing is another piece yet to be firmly placed. Russian and Ukrainian officials hold differing views on this, adding to the intrigue and uncertainty surrounding the case. As we stand today, the investigation into Tatarsky's murder is a mystery still unfolding. Every new piece of evidence, every new lead, every new theory brings us a step closer to solving this puzzle. Yet, the full picture remains elusive. As we await justice for Vladlen Tatarsky, we are reminded that truth, though elusive, is the only path to closure. In the pursuit of truth, we continue to delve deeper into the mystery, seeking to bring clarity to a situation shrouded in shadows. Each piece of the puzzle brings us closer to the truth, closer to justice, and closer to closure.